Hello, Richardson ISD. I'm happy to be coming to you again from my office. This week, I've been in here a few times, and the positive feelings I get when I'm here restores my energy and focus. As I told you last week, part of our response to the challenges of COVID-19 are that Richardson ISD has created a task force, and I'm excited to tell you that we are already meeting and working. I want to give you an update of what has come out of this very productive and important work. One major decision is that we are going to keep the current school start date as planned. We didn't feel like we could ask our teachers and students and community to come back early after all that has occurred this past 10 weeks. Therefore, as of now, Richardson ISD will start school on August 19th. We hope to keep the calendar as is. However, we will remain open and flexible in the event that dates must be adjusted if conditions change. But I feel good about our Richardson ISD start date of August 19th. I can't tell you how many times I have been asked and how much thought that I have been putting into how school's going to look in the fall. And with each week, the pieces are starting to come together. Finally, it's with confidence that I can tell you that RISD is busy working on a blueprint for re-entering school. Based on recommendations from TEA, we are creating a blueprint with options in order to be prepared for every possible scenario. First, RISD will offer a fully virtual option for our families. We recognize there are some of you worried about the health of your student or family member, and returning to school is just not an option. It's not going to be an option for you. This virtual option will be very different than the at-home learning model that you experienced this spring. You have to remember, we stood that up in just 2 weeks. Our team is hard at work at designing this rigorous virtual option staffed with highly trained teachers and a specialized curriculum unique to this kind of synchronous digital learning environment. Second, an all in-person learning plan. We want to get all of our students back to in-person learning as soon as possible. But quite honestly, we know from the surveys taken thus far and current CDC and TEA guidance, we probably will not have all of our students returning. Third, we're very busy working on a hybrid learning plan where we will balance face-to-face with virtual. This could look like groups of students in cohorts. For example, cohort A and cohort B. Cohort A would meet face-to-face while cohort B would be learning virtually at home, and then the schedule could flip with cohort A working virtually and cohort B working in person at school. This is just one of the hybrid models that we're designing to ensure that as much as allowable, we're bringing our students back to school while meeting the anticipated social distancing guidelines and class size guidelines. And fourth, we're working on an intermittent learning plan. This would be a backup plan that we would put in place if there is a virus outbreak or if a school has to close temporarily. We are planning to take a very detailed inventory in July that will encompass students, staff, and all of our facilities. For students, we need to know how many will be returning for enrollment in RISD and which of the learning environments will be right for them. The facilities inventory will be related to assessing square footage and looking at innovative ways to maximize all of the space for rigorous learning. And finally, in closing for this week, as the leader of RISD, I want to express my compassion and heart sickness for the events playing out on TV and across the country this past week regarding the tragic death of George Floyd. I've released several messages on social media and a letter of care and concern to my staff. We've already begun a lot of work in Richardson ISD with the formation of a department dedicated to diversity, equity, and inclusion, but the real work is so much bigger and harder than what has been done so far. As we return to Richardson ISD in the fall, racial equity will be a huge focus. We've started the journey with professional learning already and really asking our employees to start working on themselves. In my weekend social post, I announced the launch of a new racial equity committee this fall. I commit to you that this work will be real and it will be meaningful. I know words without action are meaningless, but I'm committed to rolling up my sleeves and working with an invested staff and community to bring about real change. This summer, every single one of us has the opportunity to see, reflect, and process the racial injustices around us, and I hope you will come ready in the fall to engage in this vital racial equity work. It is needed now more than ever.